Hello, this is Mr. Castro signing in, and I'm here to give my students a quick tutorial on the final project I'm having them do. Now, I am doing this project with you guys. The song I chose was the Beatles' "Here Comes the Sun." It was it's a really popular tune written by George Harrison, who didn't write most of the songs. It was actually John Lennon and Paul McCartney who were the kings of songwriting in terms of uh, the 60s and 70s. And George Harrison and Ringo Starr were always like second fiddle in terms of songwriting. Now, even though George wrote one of the most memorable songs in the Beatles catalog. Now, this is the song that I will be tutoring you guys with. Okay, so I'm just gonna play the intro to this song. Now, if you go to Ultimate Guitar, and I clicked on the one with the most ratings, so I think it was over 1,000 stars, 1,000 thumbs up for "Here Comes the Sun" chords by the Beatles. Now, technically, these are not chords, even though they are in position. So when you first approach a song, know a little bit about it. So Ultimate Guitar does a job in telling you what level it is, and it says it's intermediate. I would definitely know off the bat your D chord, your G chord, your A7 chord, and your E7 chord, and with not that fingering, it's going to be the other fingering. It's going to be the one with your pinky on. It's going to look like that, something like that, with your pinky on the D, the third fret of the B string, and your F chord. So go into a song, whatever song you pick, make sure you know the chords off the bat. For example, this is going to be D, G, A7, E7 with the pinky. Oh, that's probably not. So these are the chords that I have to know, and the F. These are the chords that I have to know before attempting this piece. And then it has this strumming pattern as well. Now, this strumming pattern is going to be for those that are playing rhythm for the most part. It's not going to concern the song as a whole. There's a couple of spots, I think, that require this strumming pattern, but we're not going to pay attention to that. But if you are into the strumming pattern is really simple. It's down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you just repeat that. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I'm pretty sure the accent's on the one beat, but I could be mistaken. It says it's in the key of A. Well, how is it in the key of A if you have an F chord? F doesn't belong in the key of A. Well, then again, it's a modulation. But here's what I'm trying to say. They want you to do the capo in the second fret. Now, my students know what a capo is. It pretty much raises the pitch. Now, this is how the strings sound without the capo. This is how the strings sound with capo on fret number 1. I'm going to have a crooked capo on this most likely. Fret number 2. You see that it's raising every time I move up a fret, it raises the pitch. So the way chords work with a capo is like this. For example, my G chord. You see that's my G chord. Now, if I wanted to do a G chord with the capo on the second fret, I would count the 3rd fret from where the capo's at. 1, 2, 3. I do a G position on that. There it is, straight. But essentially, it's not a G chord anymore. Since I raised it up 2 half steps, that G major chord turned into an A major chord. So if I were to play the piano, an A chord on the piano, it'll match when I play this at the same time. Okay, so that's essentially what a capo does. Now, it wants me to have the capo in the 7th fret. Now, I like to tell my students to have the capo as straight as possible. It might be my OCD. There's a couple of microtones that would be off if you were to have it crooked. I'm not sure, but I just like to have it straight as possible, like right before the fret. Now, forgive me, I haven't practiced this much. This is a video tutorial. It was more of an impromptu video tutorial for my students. Now, because of that, my massive hands will probably have trouble with the actual fretting of the song. So I will try to play it as best of my ability, the way it is meant to be played on the recording. So, here it goes. So, I know. So, that, if I were to have played it with the intro, it would match more or less. See, hear that? Hear that? The chord again. Let's try it again. See? Now, for the sake of this lesson, I'm not going to have the capo. I'm just going to play the D chord as a real D chord. And then so on, the G chord is a real G chord, the A7 chord is a real A7 chord. Now, approaching this song, you want to play it as slow as possible. This is where the metronome comes in. The metronome drove me crazy as a college kid studying piano because it would magically go faster, magically go slower, and it'll always throw me off. But it was me. But it made me such a better musician. I cannot sing the praises of the metronome enough. Please practice with the metronome. For any instrument, please practice with the metronome. Now, I put it in a slower speed. Here Comes the Sun is around 120 beats per minute. I'm going to have it at 77. So, let's see if that's good. Perfect. So, I'm going to play it with the beat. See if I mess up. If I mess up, I'm going to go slower. I try not to play the high E string at the end. Oh man. So that's the best I could do right now without practicing. Now, I messed up a little bit, so I'm going to slow it down to 66 beats per minute. Now, slowing down the metronome could be a double-edged sword because it slows it enough where you think you are cognizant of what you're doing. Therefore, you have a tendency to mess up and overthink. But that's good for you, especially if you can perform this. You get over that, you could perform it twice as better. All right. So, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge because I am thinking about the camera, I'm thinking about what I'm doing, I'm thinking about the metronome. So, I'm going to try to clear my mind as much as possible and play. that's as good as any for the meantime until I practice it. So let's see if I could do it with the real speed of about 118. Don't quote me on that. I might be off by several BPMs. Okay, I'm going to try it like this. D chord. I couldn't keep up with the metronome. So you want to work your way up to the actual beats per minute. So obviously you don't have to do this song. I'm just doing it by example. Now I am going to search a song at random. Let's see. I'm going to hit tabs. The first one pops up is Perfect by Ed Sheeran. Let's see. It gives you the strumming pattern, which I think this song is in 6/8 because I don't think it's on triplets. I think it's in 6/8. So I want you to. I think that's an accent on the first beat and the fourth beat. So I think it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The pre-chorus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's good to know the pattern, but I want you to master the chords first. So let's see. You open with G, E minor, C. This kind of looks like your typical rock and roll beat. Reminds me of Crocodile Rock, songs like that with that same pattern, same chord progression. All right, so I'm gonna try my best with this song, and I'm just gonna hum the melody. Let's see. I found. Okay. A minor. C. That's it. Now you get to the point where, hey, maybe strumming sounds pretty boring. Work with your fingers. It's fine to work with your fingers and finger pick. I'm not a master at finger picking, but hey, I want to get better. So this is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So remember, know your chords first. Once you know your chords, go on to the metronome. Practice as much as possible. You have all the time in the world to practice. So use this time wisely. This is Mr. Castro.